Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge with your latest Manchester United transfer news and some breaking news that CNN in Portugal are reporting that Arsenal are currently in talks with Victor Gyokeres. What does this mean for Manchester United? Well, straight away, before people start saying, you said you saw something, this, that and the other, let me just repeat what Fabrizio Romano said in the last hour. Manchester United have called Sporting last week, over the weekend and this week to understand the situation of Gyokeres, trying to understand whether they can do a deal, whether they can afford to do a deal without the Champions League, what it is Sporting are looking for, what Gyokeres is looking for. So that's from Fabrizio Romano, who also said on Monday the next few days could be key in the move for Victor Gyokeres and Manchester United. So look, let's not start. I don't want to see the chat full of we were never in for him anyway, we've all fallen for him. But that's not the story here. That is not the story here. The story is that Man United are in for Gyokeres and do want Gyokeres. And as I said, what I saw on Sunday, I would be shocked if we don't get him. But there is a potential shock, which I and many others probably hadn't thought about. And that is, will Arsenal go for Sesko and Gyokeres? Because they do want Sesko. And if they go for both, we may as well forget it. Because Man City are getting Nipan now and all these other players. Liverpool are spending 150 million euros on Wirtz. And if Arsenal are going to go and buy the two strikers that we would want, then what hope is there? But what are your thoughts? Because I've got to say, it's interesting. You can run off a few themes here, and effectively, I mean, look, even Matt, our editor, was messaging in the group chat earlier, saying that it could be that Sporting Gyokeres' agent is going rogue, like he can't get the deal with Man United, so he goes to Arsenal to see if they can get the deal. Because if Sporting are saying we want 80 million euros and Man United can't afford it, he now goes and speaks to Arsenal to see if they can afford it. I mean, look, at the end of the day, they're going to speak to other clubs. I'm quite relaxed about that. But it could be trouble. It could be trouble. It could be part of getting Leipzig to think, oh my God, they're going to go to Gyokeres and not Sesko. So there could be all sorts of games going on here. Does it add tension to the drama? Yes, it does. I think from where we were this morning as well, the story has changed. Listening to what Sporting's side of the story is, I think that there was an agreement, a gentleman's agreement, but I don't think it was agreed that it was 60 million euros. And I think Sporting have said, look, your release clause is 100 million euros. We're not going to charge that, but we are going to charge 80. So, look, honestly, I've seen United fans saying, walk away, it's too much. He's only just 27. Lewandowski is playing up front for Barcelona at 35. So, since I don't know what world we live in. This is what happens when you obsess about Chelsea. Just because Chelsea are Leonardo DiCaprio FC and they're focused on under 23s doesn't mean that 27 is too old. Like 27 is not old at all. You're going to get 6 years of a really good player at least out of that. And to be honest, I'd take 5. I mean, how much is a goal worth? When United can't even break, no one can get into double figures in the Premier League last season. How much is a goal from Gyokeres worth each? I mean, it's got to be worth a few $100,000, doesn't it, for him to score goals? So I am not bothered about 80 million euros. I think Man United need to do some work on this deal with Sporting. We need to nurture and work on that great relationship we've got. And we need to be saying things like, we will give you 80 million, but we want add-ons as part of that. Like, can we agree that if we qualify for the Champions League or he scores 20 Premier League goals, we'll give you another 10? Things like this. If we qualify for the Champions League in the next 3 years, we'll give you another 10. So you maybe pay 60, but you give him 10 when he scores more than 20 Premier League goals, and you give him 10 when we qualify for the Champions League. I don't think there's any problem with that. Of course, other people might come in with better offers, but I think United can't just be like, oh, this is a bit expensive. You spent 62 million pounds on Cunha. You're spending 60 million pounds on Mbeumo. That's 70 million euros. We're talking in pounds because we're buying them from English clubs. It's 70 million euros for Cunha. And we won't pay 80 million euros for Gyokeres. And there's only about 18 months between them in age. So I'm sorry, those people who are saying we should walk away, not for me, bruv. Not for me. I think this deal, you've got to get it done. You have to work your arse off to get it done. It can't not happen because we walk away, is what I'm trying to say. But as I was saying there, let's not forget, Fabrizio Romano has said in the last hour that Man United have been in contact with Sporting last week, at the weekend, and again this week. So we are in this race. We are in this fight. And Arsenal may well be holding talks with him. But as we know, Arsenal want Sesko. So unless Arsenal are going to go for both of them, and as I said to you on Sunday night, I saw something Sunday lunchtime that made me convinced that we were going to sign Gyokeres. And I'll be shocked if we don't. If Arsenal sign Gyokeres and Sesko, that would be the sort of shock. And I don't think they are. So maybe there is a little bit of a game going on there because it's a reliable source coming out of Portugal, CNN Portugal. So maybe there's a bit of game playing going on. And remember what it says, Gyokeres' agent is in talks with Arsenal. So, you know, the agent is probably losing his shit about what's going on. I mean, look, ultimately, if you sell Gyokeres for 60 million euros, you can ask for quite a chunk as an agent because you're selling him cheap. If Sporting want 80 million euros, that's eating into your profits as an agent. I mean, look at what happened with Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland apparently went to Man City for 60 million pounds. That's what Dortmund got. What everybody else got was a hell of a lot more because it was like, you're getting one of the world's best strikers for 60 million. Now we want paying. And that, you know, you can understand the agent frustration because he's sort of like going, Gyokeres is going for a proper price now. So there's going to be all sorts going on. But United, look, if he wants Manchester United, which I believe he does, I think United just have to be not looking at this in the sense of we're all relaxed. There's got to be an angle here. We've got to have a play. And he's going to go into that Man United side. He's going to play from the start, and hopefully he's going to score a lot of goals and take Manchester United back to a level where they should be. That's got to be attractive to him. We've got to make it attractive to Sporting, and we have a good relationship with them. So ultimately, I'm not massively concerned about the talks with Arsenal because I'm sure there'll be talks with Juventus, Saudi, and whoever else. There will be talks. But we've already beaten off other clubs for Mbeumo, so we can do it again. And I'm not convinced this is Arsenal's priority anyway. I think this might be games from the agent, might be games from Sporting. Man United need to be going into this knowing that the player wants to come to us. And I think he does. Otherwise, we wouldn't be wasting our time on it because we don't have Champions League football. And yet we're constantly in contact with them, according to Fabrizio Romano. So let's see what happens. I'm back on the United Stand at 8 o'clock tonight, but get your comments in below. Also, please do. I'll drop the link in the video description. I've just done a little bit of Goldbridge reacts to his trip to New York. Please do support that channel and give it a watch because I have said that if that video gets a certain amount of views, I'm going to let you lot vote on whether I bring back a live going with Goldbridge, live driving with Goldbridge, not live driving with Goldbridge, driving with Goldbridge or a live cooking with Goldbridge. So you could be part of that movement. Check out the link in the video description or the top comment. I'll speak to you all in a bit. We're live at 8. Thanks for watching.